Veteran high school football coach Mel Skillman began his long prep coaching career at Beaverton, where he went 13-14-5 before going to Freeland High School, where he chalked up an 18-5-1 record.
Mel went on to coach at Beaverton, and I went over to Port Austin.
The Oscoda native moved on to Douglas MacArthur High School, where he was the head junior varsity coach for 2 seasons before becoming the head varsity coach.
Mel played for Oscoda in this basketball game, beat Pinconning, last shot of the game on a two-handed set shot, which he never crossed the center line of the court.
And then he became the second head football coach in 1966. And he was immediately successful his first year, posting a 6-3 record.
And he had gotten a job at MacArthur, asked me if I wanted to be his line coach and defensive coach. And I said yes.
Skillman guided the Generals to an overall record of 139, 68-0.
Mel came into my office after practice one night and said, "Ron, I'm going to make a change." I says, "Oh, what's that?" He says, "From now on, my practices are going to be no longer than 2 hours." He says, "I'm not going to worry about Monday morning quarterbacks anymore, and I'm going to make football fun." From that point on, he had a 97-38 record. He won 5 more league championships, went to the state playoffs 6 times, and was state runner-up twice.
His 1975 MacArthur team made it to the state final, the first year the high school playoffs were held.
When we went out there on Friday nights, we knew we were going to win. We knew we were going to be better prepared mentally and physically than the other team. Our game plan was going to be much better. And honestly, it wasn't a question if we were going to win, it was how bad we were going to win.
But the Generals suffered a 21-0 loss to Dearborn Divine Child in the Class B finale.
Our place kicker kicked the ball with just wide of the uprights. I talked to the officials after the ball game, and they said it just missed the upright. If it had been high school goalposts, it would have gone through and we would have won the game.
2 years later, they made it to the state championship once again before losing to Jackson Lumen Christi 17-16. Skillman also coached wrestling at MacArthur for 15 years and compiled a record of 152, 129-5 and 4 White Pine Conference championships.
Mel was the first wrestling coach at MacArthur High School. Coached for 12 years. His teams were always competitive, won 4 league championships.
We were part of the first Central Michigan wrestling team, both he and I. So we wrestled together for a year.
In fact, one time when he was coaching wrestling, he brought the Chinese national team in to wrestle in an exhibition match at MacArthur High School. We filled the gym.
When Douglas MacArthur merged with Dwight D. Eisenhower to form Heritage High School, Skillman was at the helm for the Hawks, who were 23-20 in his 4 seasons. From there, Skillman served as an assistant coach at Alma College for 4 years before returning to the high school ranks, where he was 52-22 in 7 seasons at Merrill High School.
I know he went up to Alma College and he coached up there a little bit. That's when Mel really got involved with this networking, and I mean, he studied and studied, and he would offer ideas, he would take ideas, and that's where this wealth of knowledge, and he continues to do that.
Skillman moved on to Arthur Hill High School as an assistant coach for 2 years.
You know, I had an opportunity to work with Mel probably 5 years ago over at Arthur Hill, and it's truly just a love for the kids in the game.
And then as an assistant at Hemlock High School for 1 year. He coached 3 seasons at Bridgeport High School, going 4-23, and 1.5 years at Atlanta, going 6-9, before accepting the head coaching position in 2012 at Breckenridge High School.
Honestly, I can't believe that he's still coaching. I believe it's at Breckenridge now. You know, what that tells me is that he cares about young people.
Along the way, he's had 7 undefeated seasons: 1961, 77, 78, 80, 81, 2000, and 2002.
He's always evolving with the game, and that's what's pretty interesting, and I'm sure that's what keeps him going too.
And he's made the playoffs 10 times.
Trust me, when you're 9-0, 9-0, 9-0, it's easy to smile.
Skillman was Regional Coach of the Year 9 times, while being named Class B Coach of the Year in 1977.
He cared about kids. He had high expectations for himself, his staff, and his players. And he would never bend the rules.
He was elected to the Michigan High School Football Coaches Hall of Fame in 1981.
Mel's a fine coach, and one of his fortes was his ability to plan a practice, put together a game plan, and get it executed.
Mel truly understands the game of football like not many coaches.
Mel Skillman has coached high school football for 55 years, 45 as a head coach.
Mel's going to continue to coach as long as he can coach, because he just loves to coach.
There's only one reason I'd like to go back. That's to play Mel.
His career varsity record is 255, 161, and 6, ranking him in the top 20 all-time in state history.
For a guy who's devoted as much time to coaching as Mel Skillman has, and as successful as he's been, he's a definite lock insofar as being accepted into the Sports Hall of Fame. He deserves it.
But he is a man that's definitely deserving of this honor.